For centuries, indigenous tribes across the continent have told stories of Sasquatch, a massive, hair-covered bipedal creature that walks the line between man and beast. Early European settlers recorded similar encounters in their journals. Today, thousands of eyewitnesses continue to report sightings, yet concrete evidence remains frustratingly elusive. The scientific community remains skeptical, dismissing most evidence as hoaxes or misidentified animals. But our team, comprised of primatologist Dr. Mireya Mayer, survival expert Russell Acord, field researcher Ronnie LeBlanc, and investigator Bryce Johnson, approached the mystery with rigorous methodology. Armed with $100,000 worth of thermal imaging equipment, night vision technology, and acoustic monitors, we aim to apply real science to this enduring legend. Our expedition focused on a remote stretch of Oregon wilderness that had generated multiple recent Bigfoot reports. Local hunters spoke of eerie vocalizations and massive footprints. A wildlife biologist had documented strange tree structures that defied natural explanation. On our first night, we established a base camp and began systematic sweeps with thermal binoculars. The forest initially revealed typical fauna: deer, elk, even a massive bull moose. Then, around 2:17 a.m., something extraordinary appeared on our screens. "What in the hell is that?" Russell whispered, his voice tense. The thermal signature showed a massive bipedal figure standing nearly 8 feet tall, watching the grazing animals from the tree line. Unlike the deer who moved with skittish grace, this creature stood unnaturally still before taking 2 purposeful strides forward. The nearby elk suddenly froze, their heads snapping up in alarm. Then, nothing. The figure had vanished. The next morning, Bryce received an audio file from a local researcher, a recording of an unidentified howl captured in these same woods. That night, we decided to conduct a playback experiment, a technique wildlife biologists use to study elusive animals. Russell positioned himself on a high ridge with a 500-watt speaker system, while the rest of us took strategic positions below with thermal cameras and recording equipment. The plan was simple: play the mystery howl and document any response. "Remember," Dr. Mayer cautioned, "we have no idea what this vocalization means in their communication. It could be a territorial challenge, a mating call, or even a distress signal." The first playback yielded only silence. On the second attempt, the forest answered. A bone-chilling roar erupted from the darkness, deeper than any bear, more complex than any known animal vocalization. The sound carried an eerie, almost metallic resonance that made my scalp prickle. Even more unsettling, it seemed to come from multiple directions simultaneously. "That wasn't a coyote," Ronnie breathed. "That wasn't anything on record." The ambush. What happened next defied explanation. Our thermal cameras suddenly detected movement, 3 massive heat signatures moving with deliberate precision through the trees. They weren't approaching directly, but flanking us in a textbook pincer maneuver. A loud crack echoed as something heavy impacted a tree trunk nearby. Then another. Were they throwing rocks? Warning us off? "They're hurting us," Russell realized with dawning horror. "They're driving us toward the ravine." For the first time, I understood why so many Bigfoot encounters end in panic. There's something profoundly unnatural about realizing you're being hunted by something that shouldn't exist. The evidence. Though we never obtained definitive visual confirmation that night, we left with compelling evidence. Thermal images of an 8-foot-tall bipedal figure moving through the forest. Audio recordings of an unidentified vocalization that defies known animal vocal patterns. Documented behavioral responses showing possible group coordination and tool use, rock throwing. Physical traces including 18-inch footprints with dermal ridges found the next morning. The crisp Oregon air hung heavy with tension as the Expedition Bigfoot team prepared their equipment beneath a moonless sky. The dense forest surrounding them was unnaturally silent, even the ever-present chirping of crickets had ceased. Russell Acord adjusted the gain on their $15,000 parabolic microphone, while Dr. Mireya Mayer double-checked the thermal imaging settings on their FLIR Scout TK cameras. Tonight's experiment was simple in theory. Play recorded Sasquatch vocalizations and document any response. But every member of the team knew they were potentially crossing into dangerous, uncharted territory. At precisely 10:17 p.m., Russell initiated the first playback sequence. The recorded howl, obtained from a 2017 encounter in Washington's Gifford-Pinchot National Forest, echoed through the ancient trees. The initial response was subtle, The team's sensitive equipment picked up increased activity among local wildlife, with deer apparently moving away from the sound source. The second playback at 10:32 p.m. yielded dramatically different results. As the final notes of the call faded, the forest fell deathly silent for approximately 11 seconds. Then their equipment registered something extraordinary. Audio recorders captured a response beginning at 38 Hz, below human hearing threshold, rising to 1,100 Hz. Infrasound sensors detected patterns matching primate distress calls but at amplitudes suggesting a much larger vocal apparatus. EMF detectors spiked dramatically during the response period. The encounter, minutes of terror. What happened next would be burned into each team member's memory. At 10:34 p.m., thermal cameras detected 3 distinct heat signatures approaching from different vectors. The largest signature, designated Alpha, measured approximately 7 feet 10 inches tall based on thermal scale. Movement patterns showed the figures using trees for cover in a tactical approach. Audio picked up distinct bipedal footfalls with an estimated stride length of 5 feet 3 inches. Dr. Mayer's field notes from that moment read, "Subject Alpha demonstrates awareness of our position but shows neither fear nor immediate aggression. Behavior suggests advanced environmental assessment, possibly determining threat level." At 10:37 p.m., the situation escalated rapidly. A large object, later determined to be a river rock weighing approximately 8 pounds, landed 6 feet from Ronnie LeBlanc's position. Simultaneous vocalizations registered from multiple directions. All 3 thermal signatures began moving in a coordinated flanking maneuver. The aftermath, evidence that defies explanation. When the team cautiously returned at dawn, they discovered physical traces. 17 distinct footprints averaging 17.5 inch in length. Depth analysis suggested a weight between 600 to 800 pounds. Mid-tarsal break evident in several prints, a feature unique to primates. Dermal ridges visible in 2 exceptionally clear impressions. Environmental changes. Multiple young trees, 4 to 6 inch diameter, bent at 90-degree angles 7 feet above ground. Several hanging branches arranged in a distinct pattern. A 12-foot diameter nest area with compressed vegetation. Biological samples. 9 hair samples caught on bark at heights between 6 to 9 feet. Possible saliva residue on several leaves. Unidentified scat samples showing omnivorous diet. Scientific analysis, challenging conventional wisdom. Vocal analysis. The response calls contained harmonic structures unlike any known North American species, with similarities to both primate and human vocal patterns but at frequencies suggesting a much larger larynx. Thermal data. Heat signatures showed a unique distribution pattern inconsistent with known wildlife, with apparent concentration in the upper torso region. Footprint casts. Dermal ridge patterns showed no match to any known primate, yet displayed characteristics inconsistent with hoaxes, including pressure variations impossible to fake. Hair samples. Microscopic analysis revealed an unknown structural composition, not bear, not human, not any documented North American mammal. If even a fraction of them evidence proves valid, the implications are staggering. The existence of an unclassified North American primate would rewrite biology textbooks. Their demonstrated intelligence, from possible communication to tactical movement, challenges our understanding of non-human cognition. As Dr. Mayer noted, what we witnessed demonstrates complex behavior that, if verified, would represent one of the most significant zoological discoveries of our century. They returned from those woods changed. The world may still dismiss Bigfoot as myth, but we can't unsee what we witnessed. Expedition Bigfoot continues its research, employing increasingly sophisticated technology to solve this mystery once and for all. One thing is certain, something extraordinary walks those ancient forests. And it knows we're looking for it. The question remains, are we ready for what we might find?